Hello there. As I'm finishing up peanut butter, give yourself a nice nutritious snack before you go live. All right. Welcome. I'm blending into the wall. Talk about a wallflower. Shit. This shirt is actually green and you can't tell from the lighting. So, okay. Let's do this. Let me make sure we're recording. Yes. And hello, it's me, Shauna. Welcome to the Possibilities Show. I'm so excited about today's episode. I think you're gonna like it. I think it's a little bit in your face, but aren't they all? And don't we need more, do you need more conversations that are more real and not fluffy and perfect and fake, right? I know I do. I'm craving connection. I'm craving honesty and deep. You should see my desk. This is so bad. All right, we're gonna have to redo this just a second. All right. Should I do the mic? Let's try to do the mic. Bear with me. And we're back. Hello, it's me, Shauna. Welcome to the Possibilities Show. I am so excited about today's chat. This is going to be a solo episode with just me and you and the mic and my laptop to talk about something I heard recently on a post. I don't remember what it was. I think it was on Instagram or something. And it was like, yes, this is brilliant. And then once I just get even just like a word or a sentence or something inspires me, then this is how I tend to do the podcast episode. So bear with me just a second. Let me make sure we're aligned. Are we recording? Boom. So this is called Living in the Waiting Room. I love this. And I wrote a newsletter about it and I wanted to share it with you. And it was like, it's just, what does that look like to you? And what does it mean? What it means to me and kind of how we can get out of people's waiting rooms. And so often, I think women in particular, we tend to wait around for people, with people, waiting for our kids to grow up or get older or get out of the baby stage or out of diapers. We wait to quit our jobs until we have, a good sized nest egg. We don't start the business. We don't start the exercise or the food routine, or we don't take that dance class or the art class. And so it's how this post that I saw, she was just talking about, are you in someone else's waiting room? I'm going to pull this more into a waiting room, not necessarily someone else's, but outside of, or you might be in your own waiting room for, not necessarily for someone, but it's for something. So it could be someone, it could be, you to lose the weight, you to wear the bikini, and I have to lose the weight in order to wear the bikini. I'm just really pulling this in more in a general space. It doesn't necessarily mean waiting for somebody else to change or to forgive or apologize or, someone to know that they hurt you or whatever this is. So let's just bring this back into how long have you been waiting for something? It could be, those are my favorite words. It could be like waiting on your partner to change. It could be waiting to start a business. It could be waiting, again, like I said, till the kids get older and maybe grow up or get out of the house, waiting to tell somebody that you love them or that you are infatuated or you, whatever, waiting to take the art class and the dance class, or waiting to put yourself out there, or waiting to be vulnerable, or waiting till you find the perfect therapist, or waiting until you quit your job or to find the perfect job or the $1 million. You're getting the gist, right? So let's just call this a whole whole waiting room. And if you're like most women, especially the women that I work with and stuff, this is predominantly for mothers as well, but women, whatever. Um, Maybe do you feel like you're stuck in that waiting room? So all of those instances that we shared, you can fill in your own blanks, write it down. Like, what do I feel like I'm waiting for, right? And this could be so general. It could just mean anything. Um, Again, even just wearing the bathing suit, like I have to have this perfect body, or I have to be this weight before I take this vacation and wear this bathing suit, or I have to lose X amount of weight. Um, by the time, I get on this vacation or whatever it is. And it's this is so big and so important because, well, I don't know if you saw that episode or heard that episode a little while ago that was called Life is Short. And I had cried in the episode, and it was very it just hit my heart because this lead singer of this band passed away, and it was just talking about like what gifts are you not exploring and not allowing to release for yourself, obviously first and foremost, because everything always begins and ends with you. But what gifts are you keeping from the world? So how I kind of related this death, it was a tragedy. This kid left his body. He was 32, like such a good, singer and in his element and doing his dharma, and like, had his band members and his community and the people that loved him and stuff. And I had also brought up the idea of, or this example of this beautiful artist. I have oh, they're right here. I need to get a so I'm gonna just show this to you. It doesn't, it's not as faded. This looks faded right here, but my girlfriend made this and I was able to purchase this from her all the way. She shipped it, I think, from India. And so I had shared that example of this beautiful artist. What if she did not allow herself to do her artwork and to do express herself in that way? I have another one over there. There's my friend does art as well for me. I paid for beautiful artwork that he did for me. But what is inside of you that needs to come out, right? So again, you're not here to do boring, stressful shit all day long. So when you look at some of these things, and if you look at this waiting room of life, what are you waiting for? And my question, or really like how we can spin this, is what if life is short? Going to that episode, that was a quick one. If you haven't listened to that one, that's really good. What if life is short? And what if tomorrow isn't promised? And it's all the same stuff that we talked about, but I think a lot of people tend to take life for granted of, oh, I'll get to that later, right? And my coach says later never comes. And it's like, how often have you said you were going to be something, leave this job, start this exercise routine, make your health a priority, leave that crappy relationship, be more patient, take that vacation, wear that bathing suit, whatever it is. How many times have you said that and then it didn't happen, right? So that's why it's so, how we can kind of put all this together with the waiting room and keeping your gifts from the world. When is it going to be the perfect time, right? And I, everyone wants our attention, right? You just go to your email, you go to Facebook, you go to Instagram, you go to anything media, right? Everyone wants our attention. Oh, buy this, buy that, buy now, go on to Amazon, get this now. And how often, so we're pulled in a million different directions, but how often do you just quiet yourself and give yourself the gift of listening to what you need and what you want to do, right? Like, because I always say you're not here to do boring, stressful shit all day long. How are you living your life living your purpose, right? So if you're not here to do boring, stressful shit all day long, and you're not here just to hustle and grind, and pay the bills, while I get all those, we do have to pay the bills and take care of our families. That's kind of like a, that's not really what we're talking about here, but it's how much longer are you going to wait in this waiting room to start something that you've wanted to start, to be the person that you wanted to be, whether it be a millionaire or a travel agent or a real estate agent or an artist or something like that? How much longer are you willing to tolerate you not living your purpose because of, all the circumstances? And I ain't got time for that, right? We talked about that the last time too. Like, let's really focus on how much time each human being has, and you'll always make priorities for the things that are important to you. So if your health is important to you, yet this is what my coach says, eat Doritos and Cheetos on the couch and you chill on the couch all day long, you can say that the health is important to you, but your actions are speaking louder than your words, right? So that's just an example. My coach is very harsh, or not harsh, but very in your face, I guess, a little bit too. There's no fuzziness or guessing around him. So if something is important to you, you're going to make time for it. So with this waiting room of life, whether it's, again, write it down, like so you can just ask yourself this question: what do I feel like I'm waiting on, right? It could be a person, it could be, like this original post said something about, are you in someone else's waiting room? Okay, so this was more on relationships, which is fine. If that's in your case and you can resonate with that, then answer that question, like, whose waiting room are you sitting in? Or are you sitting in your own waiting room, for later, right? Like, and then because later never comes, you can just look at all the things that you've wanted to start, wanted to, go to places or be this again, millionaire, or this person that makes a difference in the world or something like that. How often have you said that you're going to start something and then you let yourself down by just saying, oh, I'll get to that later, right? I'll get to that when my kids get older. I'll get to that when I retire. I'll get to that when I X, Y, and Z. And you can fill in all the blanks here. And this is no judgment. We all say things that we want to do. But when you have instances like this and things that hit you, this person that passed and left his body, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, it hit me and I was crying, and it just, it made me look at myself in the mirror and say, what is it that you want to do? How come you're holding yourself back? Even though I've been putting myself out there a lot more in the last 6 months than I have ever before, but how can I really stop caring what others think, and still just do what I'm here to do, and that's to serve people and kind of cultivate rebels and free thinkers and thought leaders and stuff like that. How can I continue to live that and show up as that person every single day, more, and not just say, oh yeah, I'll get to that next week, right? So it could also be like, starting a job, starting a business, telling someone you love them, right? That's what made me cry the last episode. Leaving that terrible job or the asshole, that you're with, releasing that employee or firing them. I mean, however you want to say it, having that hard conversation, or talking about trauma or abuse, or things not working, asking for help. It could be a million different things. So when you listen to this episode and you think about, in your own life, what is it that you're in the waiting room on? It could be, again, someone else's waiting room, waiting for them to change or apologize or to do something different or take care of you. Or it could be in your own waiting room that you're waiting for something to happen, or I'll get to that later. So imagine what's possible for you if you stopped sitting in the God-forsaking waiting room and instead grab life by the horns and live now. Like, now is all that we have. There's no guarantee of tomorrow, like I had said in my trailer, I could walk out the trailer and kick the bucket, or it can, there's tomorrow is not guaranteed. So what if today is all you have, right? What if you have everything inside of you already? You don't need the $1 million. You don't need the perfect relationship. You don't need the perfect business plan. You don't need the perfect life or anything, or the kids to be a certain age. What if right now is the most perfect time for you to start whatever it is and to get out of that waiting room? Like, what if later isn't guaranteed, and what if right now is the perfectly imperfect time to start, or to be, or to do, or to have, or to anything, release people? Imagine like what that would look like to you, and imagine what that would feel like, just stepping one foot in front of the next, like one foot in front of the other, just doing these little tiny baby steps, little tiny baby steps, little tiny baby steps. Go purchase the art supplies, right? Or use your kids' art supplies if you want to kind of spark that creativity piece. I painted yesterday 2 paintings, like, and it's not any good, excuse me, but I just did it because I felt like I needed to, and to get into out of my head and into my, creativity and my soul, right? So my wish for you is to stop sitting in the waiting room, to stop sitting in someone else's waiting room, and live like today is the most perfect, imperfect opportunity to start somewhere, and to express yourself, and to give people your gifts, and share with the world what you're really about. And when you can do that and come from that place of more empowerment, and not just, oh, I got to pay the bills, or I got to take care of my kids, which is, we all are going to do that, like, people are busy, right? I mean, I said it on a recent episode where the president is busy, the Oprah Winfrey is busy, Rachel Hollis is busy, Rachel Ray is busy. People are busy with, stuff. I know a podcaster that does like batching podcasts. He does like 10 a day or something, because he has a podcast that's released every day. People are busy, but you make time for the things that are important to you and your values, right? So I guess what this whole episode is about is like, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting for, the perfect time, or the perfect moment, or the perfect partner, or the perfect body, or the perfect child, or the perfect boss, or the perfect opportunity? How can you say, fudge that, and I'm going to create what I want, and step out of that waiting room, step out of that this like, ooh, I don't know what to do. Of course, we don't always know what we need, what step that we need to take, but it's just about taking some messy step. It's not gonna, all these rainbows and butterflies are not gonna come out when we take the first step. It's probably gonna be ugly and messy, and how do you think, okay, so this is a perfect example. You guys know I'm in love with stick figure music. Go find them if you haven't heard of them before. We see them live. I've been listening to them for like 8 or 10 years or something, when they were like kind of nobody's. Go look at his story on how this one human being, started this band. I want to say like in 2004 or 6 or something like that. And he started a band entirely by himself. He did the vocals, he did the writing, he did the drums, did the keyboard, did the guitar, did all the stuff that's in there. I don't play musical instruments, but go look up Scott Woodruff. Okay, I'm going to have him. I know I'm already putting it out there that I'm going to have him on the podcast, because he literally started a band on his own. I think maybe Santa Barbara was his first show, or Ocean Beach in San Diego. Go look up the full story, and you should hear the message that is in his voice, and not necessarily the message. I guess it's a message, but the vision. And this guy now is so, I cry in his songs. It's like he touches my heart and my soul, and everyone who listens to him. I mean, not everyone, but his fans, I mean, they are straight, like, they call it the stick figure fam, because he so touches them on a soul level. And this guy started it on his own. He makes all of the music, even now. I mean, he goes and performs with all the band members, but he creates all the music on his own, with his laptop and his guitar and the drums and whatever. And, and then they go perform the music. But it goes to show, it's like, if you were to go back, like this little nerd, again, I'm totally geeking out because I love this guy, but going back to his nerd self, like starting a band and writing music and doing it all on his own. And then now he's performed at Red Rocks and sold out. Like, he will put these little pop-up shows in the Bay Area and it sells out in like 5 minutes. Like, so it just goes to show like how far you've come, or you can come by just starting, right? Like, you can't say I'm going to be the best, perfect artist right when I do my very first thing, or I'm going to be the best perfect guitarist, where I can charge, $50,000 a show. It's and I think those are like unrealistic expectations, but how can you just start? How can you just start? How can you step out of that waiting room? How can you just start something and stop waiting? Stop waiting on things to be the best or the perfect or the skinniest or the healthiest or the, most beautifulest outside, whatever that is. But the point of this is where are you waiting on yourself to start, or to be the person, or to do or have the things that you want? Obviously, go back to Jim Fortin's Be Do Have program. That's just another hit for my coach. But how can you just start? How can you sit in that box, if you're sitting in the waiting room box, right? And you just take that step outside of it. Like, do the one thing that will move you closer to your step. If you want to do artwork, can you go into your kids? I'm not even kidding. This is so as simple as it gets. Can you go into your kids' room and go find art supplies, right? Everybody most likely has paper. Most kids have paints and paintbrushes, okay? Or markers, right? My friend does like graffiti stuff with markers. Or crayons or art, anything art, okay? You can use metal, you can use foil, you can use any single thing that you want to use, highlighters, whatever. How can you stop using I'll get to that when, and I need it perfect, or I need to have all the right supplies before I start? So you get the idea. And again, I'm just trying to make this as simple as flipping possible. How and where can you just start? How can you, if you want to become an entrepreneur, definitely message me if you want to become an entrepreneur. But how can you just start a flipping Instagram page, right? Like, how can you create the page and say, this is what I want to do? You don't have to have perfect images. There's people out there making a boat ton of money that have shit photography and they're still crushing it because people need what their message is, right? So how can you just say yes to yourself and no more living in the godforsaken waiting room, right? And I want you to take messy action. Do something that comes from you, not because it's cool, not because it's, a fad or anything like that, but if health and wellness is important to you, how can you start making that a priority for yourself? How can you wake up a little earlier to go take a walk or meditate, or do some push-ups or yoga or whatever? And most everything in life is free. You can go do yoga. You can go onto YouTube and find free people that do yoga classes online. Again, it's something that you want to do, that you're inspired to do, but you're waiting. You're waiting until the perfect moment, or till you have all the money or the perfect body, or you have all the time in the world. And how about we just start anyway, right? Again, just going back, and I'm looking at my email here. What if later isn't guaranteed? What if later is not promised to you? What if right now, and my coach Lisa says this all the time, what if now is all you have? And that's straight up the truth. What if this is it? This is the time and the place and the perfect opportunity for you to do something for yourself, right? Like, to let your soul come out and give your gifts to the world. Whether or not you might want to monetize it, that's not the point. Everyone is not necessarily an entrepreneur, but what is inside of you that you're keeping? And then how can you stop that? How can you stop that waiting on the perfect time or the perfect, because a lot of that stuff is all fear-based, right? Like, how I started, so you guys know, I think if you've been listening since the beginning, I started this podcast in my car. I had tried to start it, I'd say 3 or 4 years ago. I had 2 interviews. They were like 2 or 3 hours long. And I sat on that episode, or those interviews, and I sat on launching my podcast for, I want to say 3 years, maybe 2, maybe 3, I don't know, something like that. Because I didn't know how to edit the things, and I was just overthinking. I mean, okay. But anyway, and I was like, oh, I have to make these all perfect and they have to be edited. And how do I do the image and all these technical things that are not really like my strong suit? And so I sat on it. And then I would say last year I was in my group and I said, I'm starting my podcast. I put an intention out there to interview my business coach, even before the podcast was up. And I said, I'm going to have it done by the time that the scheduled interview was. Sure enough, like, it all happened. It all worked out. I was a nervous wreck, of course. It was like my podcast was probably 2 weeks new. And I had only done my car episodes. Like, that's how I started this original podcast. Obviously, you get better. Like, I didn't expect perfection. I just said, I'm just going to commit to weekly episode, and things fall off and whatever. But for the most part, I've done a weekly show for the last year. I'd say exactly a year. And I love this. And I don't edit my podcast. I do a little bit here, and I add my music, which is stick figure. But that's it. Just start somewhere. Get out of that godforsaken not living room, waiting room, and start. What is it that you want to start? Because life is not guaranteed. Again, with that beautiful human that passed, he was so cute. He started his music, but his potential was just starting, right? And I don't want to go out, and I think that's a sad way to go out, by not giving what is inside of you, not expressing that, not utilizing it. And for, I don't know, harshness, I guess, why are we even here then? If we're just here to pay bills, again, go to that other episode about life is short. But we're not here to just do boring, stressful shit. We're here to have fun and be whoever we want to be, and live our dharma and help people if that's what we're here to do, or be the best mothers or the best taco makers, or learn these beautiful lessons and connect with some spirit, and raise human beings. And there's a lot to life, but if we keep it all bottled up inside because of all the excuses of, I'll wait till later, I'll wait till I have that perfect body, that sucks. That really sucks, because you have potential, right? You have this potential and this fire burning inside of you to do something other than just go to work and hustle and grind. What is that? So my quest for you, as we start to wrap up this episode, is I don't know, a question, I guess you could say, is like, what are you keeping from yourself? What are you stuck and living in the waiting room for or about? And when will be the perfect time for you to start? Because there is no perfect time to start. There is no perfect time to express yourself. There is no perfect time to say I love you. There is no perfect time to start the business. I mean, go look at James Wedmore again. This is the guy who I was talking about, my business coach. He started his business. He makes flipping at least 8 figures a year, and he started it in his basement, in his parents' basement. Like, those are the things, they happen. It's not an overnight success, but you start somewhere. So he did not sit in his waiting room, right? Stick figure did not sit in his waiting room. He started with his probably laptop and some musical instruments. So what is it for you? What are you waiting on? What are you tolerating that is keeping you from the life that you want to live, right? And this is really just an invitation for you, I guess, as we're done here, is write down the things that you want. What do you want to do? Who are you here to be? You know? And if you feel like you're waiting in this waiting room and stuck, and you're too hesitant to just push forward, do something small. Go learn to meditate, go do some art. Things don't need to be so flippin' complicated. Just do something for yourself that lights your ass on fire, and watch how your life unfolds. It could take you to a million different places. Just this morning I woke up and now I want to host a virtual retreat, or a seminar kind of a thing. There's a better word for it. I just can't find it right now. But I woke up and I was like, oh my God, how did I just come up with this idea? I have no idea. And I just started writing. Like, that just came from pure potential of being open to possibility. And I hope that for you. But you sitting stuck with your feet in the sand or the mud or the cement is not going to help you get out of the waiting room. What will help you get out of the waiting room is choosing you to do what you need to do for yourself every single day. This is not a make yourself a priority episode, but that's basically what it is. Stop waiting and start taking action. What is it for you? Don't know. Go write about it. Go journal about it. Go ask your subconscious mind for answers before you go to bed. You'll be surprised and blown away about the support that you receive in dream time. Again, I can do another episode about that stuff, but look for clues and signs of what you're interested in and what's burning a hole in your gut that's saying, we need to do this. Again, art, music, therapy, mothering, relationships, working on cars, fixing a 72 camper. What is it? Because you're not here to do boring, stressful shit, and you're not here to hide all your gifts from people. You're not here to wait for others to make it perfect for you. You're here to do that, and no one's going to save you, right? No one's going to help you along. People are going to help you along, but you have to want it from here, the heart and the gut, to make things change and to do something different. And we have to get this. We got to step out of the God-forsaking waiting room. It's a messy place. It's dark and dreary and ugly in there, and boring and mediocre inside of that waiting room. And it's depressing. And my hope for you is that you take one little toe out of that box, of that, because that's essentially what it is, of that till the perfect time, till the perfect partner, till the perfect body. And I want you to see what's possible for you when you step outside of that waiting room. Like, what isn't possible for you? Like, anything is possible. We just have to trust ourselves that it's all going to be okay. You're going to figure it out one way or another. If you make a shit choice that way, then you move and make a different choice that other direction. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's episode. You can always tag me at @Shauna Bryant on Instagram or Facebook, and we'll see you next time. Love y'all.